Welcome back, everybody. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Aaron.
This is our show, Cryptocosm, where I talk about the astrological forecasts.
And I bring you your daily crypto news.
So what's going on, Aaron?
Man, it's I'll tell you what, there's been a lot going on in this realm. Everywhere we see, not only in the US, we're starting to see rules and regulations put into place in Korea that have now just been enforced as of yesterday. So not only now do we have our full know your customer rules and regulations going on here, but real name accounts are now enforced in Korea as of January 30th. All the existing virtual accounts that were out there are now rolled over so they know who is trading what and when, and everybody, Big Brother gets to keep an eye on everybody.
So that's good?
It is good, and I think there was a misconception in the beginning because personally I think that the more the rules and regulations are put into place, the more validity that it's going to have in the real world.
Okay.
So Korea, the US, and now just as of I think 7 or 8 days ago, we have Russia coming up and fully legalizing crypto trading, mining of crypto. And they're doing a lot of the very similar things that, once again, the U.S. is doing in terms of their ICOs. I mean, there's laws. Nobody can just come up and put a sign up and say, you know what? My coins are for sale. Come and buy them because I got an odd bear. And I'll tell you what, you want to buy into it.
Right.
So really, there's a lot going on in the rules and restrictions, and that's a great thing. Everybody's looking at it, it's like, oh my gosh, I got to go and pay taxes now, and I got to, you know what? It's not
real.
It's not going to be a get-rich-quick scheme for everybody.
Right.
And it can't be. It's not sustainable unless the rules and regulations are put into place.
Right.
The volatility is so all over the place, and now we're going to see things start to kind of streamline. We're gonna get these.
Even it out, yeah.
That's right. It's not gonna be such a roller coaster ride moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. What else we're seeing is laws about the accredited investors being put into place. So if you're a baller sitting at the high roller table, you know they're gonna want to keep an eye on you. We've been saying this from episodes ago.
Yeah.
They really want to have an eye on you. They want to know who's out there. They want to know who's spending money. They want to know who's making billions of dollars. And it's not going to be just this easy street all the way up to the top of that mountain. So it's definitely something that we're keeping our eyes on. But the validity that it's bringing to the table is it's becoming more accepted.
And that's the key. That is absolutely the key. Didn't mean to cut you off there, but yeah, again, we're talking about solid ground. We're talking about we're transforming this. We're transforming, the structure of this thing. Capricorn, okay, Saturn in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn, transforming this to make this solid ground. We're making this a real solidity, real viable thing, a tool that we can use every single day.
4 legs on the table. It's gonna be rock solid.
That's right. And it's been a wild ride leading up to this eclipse. It's happening today, depending on when you're watching this. Hope if you're watching this today, I mean, this eclipse is happening tonight. All right, this has been such pressure leading up to this. Our charts have seen it. I felt it. We've all felt it. It's been, not only like this that pinched toes we talked about last week, but it's just like these emotions are pinched, the communication is pinched. Heck, we had things happen abruptly. Again, when we're talking about Uranus and Pluto and Mercury in the mix, okay, and that's what's been going on. There's communication. We're talking about breakthroughs and changing the way that we're dealing with this in communication, okay? We just had a run-in on Friday where we had to all of a sudden, boom, change studios. As you can see, the set behind you is a little different than what it was before.
Took us 2 days, everybody. Right. We did it. We did it for you guys.
So it's like we walked into a scenario that we just had no idea that we were coming into kind of a storm. And it was like, okay, well, now we have to figure something out and move forward. We can sit here and look at the spilt milk and cry over it, or we can say, okay, we need to assess the situation and make these moves. And again, it had to come. Communication was kind of the arc of this that kind of broke this pendulum that was swinging back and forth. So it forced us to make these moves. It forced us to do something different, which is why we're here right now. So I'm guessing not only do we feel it in this way, but so many of us have felt this, we've had to make moves. We've had to make moves. And they can be depressing. They can be hard, and it's just like relationships, and like we had a wonderful relationship with the past studio that we were in and a wonderful relationship with the people that we were working with, and we love them. And thankfully, none of that has changed. The relationships are still rock solid and they're still loving people. And I can only hope that whatever you've been going through leading up to this full moon tonight, that you didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, that you were able to make these changes, these changes into play, like what we're seeing here with the charts as well, but without killing it all together, and kind of destroying the foundation that it was created on.
Perseverance.
That's absolutely right. So persevering, we're talking about persevering through this. We're talking about changing the game and the way that the government handles what's something that we didn't really want the government to be a part of.
That's right. I mean, how many individuals out there are like, you know what? There's too much red tape on there. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm just going to take my money and I'm going to run.
Right.
Well, right now I think that's probably the worst possible thing that one could do with the markets down in the Red Sea like this. And really,
you're going to kick yourself.
We're going to see big things happening for those that are patient, those that are holding on to their earnings, and persevering.
That's right. That's right. Karma. Saturn, king of karma. It's in Capricorn. For those who have done the groundwork, those who've done the homework, we're going to see huge payoffs over these next 2 years. Okay.
It's all going to be worth it.
It's all going to be worth it. And we're not talking overnight. What we had seen in December 2017, leading up to January. If you look at these charts, it was like that every year. Every single year this spike happened and then it went down to nothing. Every single year these crypto charts have done this. It's been this rise around, rise up to Christmas and then kind of a fall. And we've had a lot of things. The astrology had shown us why it went kind of uber extreme this last year. We talked about it in our very first episode, with this whole Mercury retrograde, the transition of Saturn moving into Capricorn. We're grounding, solidifying these moves that are going to happen, but we're not talking about, again, like Eric said, about this overnight happening. Okay, we're putting money in. Sometimes we're not going to see these moves until 2020. We're not going to see some of these numbers go that crazy again for years. This is a time
and you know what?
game.
The big thing is a lot of individuals have been talking about companies like, oh, you know what? Well, I'll get into it when Amazon gets into it. Well, there's a big, giant reason why Amazon has not gotten into it yet.
Right.
And that's because of the volatility. That's because of these super highs and these super lows. They're like, sorry, it's not stable enough for a multi-billion-dollar corporation to go all in on this.
Right.
It's a detriment. So if we don't start to see this market starting to even out and even keel, that's what we're looking for in terms for mass adoption.
Right.
It's needed.
It absolutely is. And we just had an inquiry to us. Again, feel free to email any questions to us at cryptocosm.show. Okay?
Or leave a comment right down below.
Absolutely.
One of the quickest ways to get a hold of us.
And we'd be happy to answer some of these questions. So Mark from Warren has asked us about, he's not sure about jumping into this, if this really is a new future of money, if our money is really changing. And his whole angle was there's too many cryptocurrencies. And to me, that's one of the beautiful things about this, where he saw that as almost a negative. And he says, well, until it's boiled down to one currency, I don't think I'm willing to put my money in yet. And can you elaborate on that? Will it boil down to one currency? I don't think so.
That's an interesting concept. There's a few different ways to look at it. And I think one of those approaches is there going to be a one world currency?
Right, a universal coin.
That's right. And right now, it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the gold standard in terms of cryptocurrency. Everything is related to in terms of this universal. The smaller cryptocurrency, the altcoin, if you will, has its value, say it's $100, but it also shows its value in terms of Bitcoin, which is labeled in Satoshis, and it might be 9,000 Satoshis. So it's always related to, in terms of this universal Bitcoin Satoshi level also. So it's almost like we're starting to see the emergence of this one cryptocurrency that kind of is the standard for all the rest. So we're almost starting to see that.
Absolutely.
Another interesting point is, we have this universal dollar, but if we go to an arcade, you might have a game card with
the Chuck E. Cheese token,
Chuck E. Cheese or Dave and Buster's,
or there it is.
Depending on what area you are in. I mean, or gift cards. We look at these gift cards. We go into Chili's, or we go into McDonald's, or you don't go into McDonald's or Starbucks. You know, you gotta have $100 gift card so you can go buy 3 coffees for this guy right here.
3 coffees, and $100 for the low price of a mocha latte.
But all of them are backed and related to by this US dollar. So just in terms that everything is related to Bitcoin. So is there one? Yes, there's one, but there's one of many. But they all kind of are under this branch of Bitcoin.
So in those terms, when we were looking at this, again, addressing Mark's question, that we kind of already do have multiple forms of currency with the US dollar being that main standard, right? Like you're saying with the gift cards or the Major Magic's token or Dave and Buster's token.
Or your credit card or your bank accounts or your actual dollars or your gift cards. You're using multiple forms of money right now.
Right. Now the magic though behind the cryptocurrency is when, let's say if we buy into Bitcoin at $10,000 for $1,000 in and immediately take that $1,000 and put it into one of these altcoin companies, these alternative companies like Substratum, who is decentralized internet, okay? So what we just had back in November of 2017, 5 people sat in a room and determined the fate for our entire country, that we no longer are deserving of net neutrality, which is just amazing that we give that much power to 5 people. Again, so now we're talking about splitting this power up, and now every dollar is a vote. Okay, so now I'm voting, I'm putting my dollars, my hard-earned money into Substratum because I think a decentralized internet is something of value.
That's right, absolutely. So every coin is going to have some sort of intrinsic value on its own or problem that it solves, if you will. And that value is in that solution.
So we're looking at things, again, the things that we value in a completely different way, in a unique outlook, which to me, I'm a very forward, progressive thinking kind of individual, and it's just like, how has this not existed until now? And I think we're going to see that. What seems revolutionary right now with cryptocurrency and these coins, and if you'd seen, earlier this week's episode, we're talking about the revolution of what money's changing. Okay, if you didn't check that out, huge episode. Please check that out. Tuesday's episode. We're talking about the revolutionary change of where this is going, and it's just like a couple years down the road, I'm telling you, we're going to look at this like, how do we not have a GPS unit? You're telling me you actually just used a big fold-out map, and it's like, yeah, that's the way the world worked at one point in time. The Oregon Trail, was created. This giant, we're mapping it out, and then finally these, digital revolution came. Revolutionized everything, and that's exactly where we're at right now with this. It's like trusting these things, and again, addressing Mark's question, we're not going to see this happen just boom overnight. It's not going to be like, oh, well, Bitcoin's it. All the other coins are going to disappear now, and there's only one standard of currency, and there's no other kind of options, right? Mm-hmm. So
no, I think that one standard currency is going to be the bridge between all of these other currencies.
Right, and
so there's going to be a giant link.
Ethereum is a huge player as well. Now these are tokens though. These are not coins or Ethereum tokens. Is that, how do we view the Ethereum to Bitcoin and kind of the difference, because they're the only 2 universal coins right now that can play the game?
Well, Ethereum is a platform.
Okay.
And Ether, if you will, are the coins that you can purchase.
Okay.
Now, the apps, being that Ethereum is a platform for decentralized apps or apps that can be built using Ethereum.
All right.
Now, if you have a decentralized app, then you are able to create tokens. So it's almost like the second appendage of the robot, if you will. That's where you get the tokens. The tokens are more utility-like.
Okay.
Versus kind of currency-like. And I think that's definitely something that we're seeing now more of, especially in 2018. Mm-hmm. Now we have platforms like Neo, like Lisk, like Ethereum. Ethereum, it's only been around for a year.
And it's just, let's look at what December 3rd, $500. Here we are, the 31st of January, it's $1,200. it's more than doubled in that month and a half. And it's like, are you kidding?
That's right. I think the all-time high was 1255. It's the highest.
That's huge. And it's just like a lot of, that's one of the only things right now as far as these major players. It's one of the 4 that's on Coinbase that has held its ground right now. And it's kind of making a lot of people turn heads and say, whoa, this is a major contender in this game. And this is not something that's just, it's just there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Things like Ethereum Classic. I can't even tell you how many coins are built on top of Ethereum Classic, which was Ethereum Classic before Ethereum was born. So Ethereum Classic was like first generation, then it split off into Ethereum, which is the second generation. And now we're just seeing all of these individuals building all of these apps on top of this platform and really just exploding.
So is this kind of like, can we almost compare it to like, you can't play Xbox games on PlayStation?
Absolutely.
So this is, so this platform, Sony's made the PlayStation, and now all of these other companies,
it's very
Squaresoft or whomever can make games specific for PlayStation that you can't play on Xbox or Nintendo,
or like an Apple computer, you can only use Apple apps on the iPhone, etc. It's very much just like that. Ethereum has its actual own programming language that users have to, and because of that, though, the number of developers out there that are able to program on this programming language, I think last time I checked, maybe a month or 2 ago, was only 7,000 to 8,000.
Wow.
Now that's something to think about in terms of growth when you look at Lisk, which is an up-and-coming platform as well that allows developers to program in JavaScript. Now JavaScript is one of the most widely used web programming languages on the planet, and is used in every single country all over the world.
Right.
So you could just imagine the amount of potential that a platform like Lisk has, and I can't imagine to see the growth of Lisk in this next year in 2018.
So it's like if you don't know how to create these things, if you know Java, you can jump into it and start coding and going to town and creating these. So it's like what's upstairs, can become a tangible thing, and that tangible thing, brings value to the table. That is one of the coolest things of we are in the dawn of the digital revolution, and all of the what we can create in this world is amazing.
Absolutely. Not only that, we're seeing the next generation of platforms for users that don't have any experience with the blockchain or any experience programming, and they're bringing blockchain's accessibility now to the masses. And I think that's really going to be 2018 and 2019's goal for cryptocurrencies and blockchains, is how can we get this to now everybody out there, not just the Ethereum programmers and not just the programmers. How do we get it to these businesses to allow them to create the cryptocurrencies? If they have the idea but they don't have the resources to bring them, those platforms are now coming into play as well. So that's going to be huge in terms of mass adoption.
Right, and we're at the beginning. We are at the beginning, okay? This is the tip of the iceberg, friends. This is such a great time to get excited. We're going to sit here and tell you kind of ignore the sea of red, ignore your doubts and fears. It's just like that lack of motivation. I love it. It's like, motivation is it's BS. Your own brain gets in the way of, it's like self-preservation. It's just like, well, if I hold on to this, then I'll be safe. And stepping outside of that territory becomes the unknown. Well, I'm sorry, but we're in Aquarius right now. The sun is in Aquarius, Venus is in Aquarius. We're stepping into the unknown, okay? This full moon is happening right now. We're going into the unknown. That's exactly where we are. Let go, okay? If it's out of your control, let it go. Let it go. If it's out of your control, let it go, all right? A single bar can be a prison if you hold on to it long enough. This paper prison we've been holding to for way too long. Get out of your fear, get out of your head, move forward, okay? Don't wait there for motivation to hit you. Because what's gonna happen if you're waiting for motivation, what you're really waiting for is enough people to jump in the pool to tell you that it's safe.
That's right.
Okay, once enough people jump in the pool and say it's safe, there's gonna be so many people at that point in time. If you're just trying to change banks, well, that's one thing, but if you're trying to change banks and change your money over to profit off of this, get in the pool.
And to give a graphical representation of what this looks like, my tongue is just glued to the top of my mouth today, I can tell you. To give a graphical representation of what mass adoption looked like, it's a bell curve. So it goes up, the roller coaster goes up to the top, and then it comes back down. So right now, we are just in the little lip of where it starts to go up. We are at the bottom foothill of the mountain. Once we get all the way to the top, I mean, if we were talking in terms of the gold rush,
right?
What happened to the last individuals that basically wanted to pack up and head out and make their own fortune at that point in time?
Right.
I mean, what we're seeing now is the beginning of the individuals rushing to the mountain. Hey, guess what, guys? We found gold.
1949 to 1955, and it's just like, well, when did, once we'd seen in early in the 50s, and we'd seen these giant machines come in, okay? And the guys are sitting here breaking our backs trying to, shovel for gold. We've seen these giant machines come in and just do all the work for us. What are we seeing now? We're seeing coin mining machines, okay?
Miners.
We're seeing miners everywhere. It's the same kind of thing, okay? 1934 to 1955, 1949, the 49ers. San Francisco, the 49ers. It's all about the gold rush. We're in it. We're in that same kind of time zone right now. And this is the time to act. There's huge stuff going on. Don't let the facts of what's happening overseas and coming into a more structured way of doing this. That's going to solidify all of these things. It's going to bring peace to your mind. That's going to say, okay, the pool's not full of acid and piranhas. It's like this is not. It's going to right now. The volatility is an exciting thing because you can, and a lot of us have just hit rich overnight. It's a beautiful thing. Which no one saw this coming. No one saw this coming. No one thought that, around 2017, 2018, there's going to be a new form of currency. There's going to be this new way of trading. There's going to be a new way of looking at money in general and the way that we value it and how we use it. No one saw this coming. It's out of the blue, and it's like sometimes you just got to make that leap of faith, and now is that leap of faith.
In 2009, there was an individual that spent 10,000 Bitcoins to purchase 2 pizzas. Now, today, those 10,000 Bitcoins would be worth over, I think, $75, $80 million.
80 million.
Right. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson just realized that he had purchased a great sum of Bitcoins not too long ago, and he opened up his treasure chest and claimed that he forgot all about it.
Whoops.
Well, his Bitcoins are now worth $8.5 million.
Right, he's been rolling that vitamin water money. And I just forgot I had like $8 million worth of Bitcoin just chilling there.
Here's to you, 50. Nice
right?
job.
Way to go, Curtis Jackson. Dude, you are our hope and inspiration of the day. So let's get down to it. What are we going to leave you with on this full moon?
Alrighty, we're taking the top card.
All right.
The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is right now. Chinese proverb. And if we couldn't have said it any better already, now is the time, ladies and gentlemen.
True wisdom card of the day. How amazing is that? Now's the time.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that little notification button so you stay up to date with all of our news.
Because we got a lot coming at you.
Here on the Cryptocosm.
Bing.